because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week
Yeah,
before.
sure.
So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma.
This week, Bill Maher turned the political tables, and it wasn't just a casual jab. It was a full-on strike against the mainstream media. And guess who caught the brunt of it? None other than The View, with Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Hostin finding themselves under fire. The master of sarcasm and sharp critique, Maher, turned his attention to the left and didn't hold back. His target? The so-called woke crowd, who, according to Bill, is completely off the rails. Let's dive in because this story is packed with drama, suspense, and a major political twist.
First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no fucking thing as karma, okay? Get over that.
But it struck me that in the first segment you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And
it all began like any other night on Real Time with Bill Maher. The audience was ready for Bill's usual clever commentary, but this time, Maher had more than just a few jokes. He had an agenda. It started with a critique of the woke crowd and the increasing divide within the left wing, and Maher wasn't mincing words. He laid it out clearly. Wokeness was not only becoming a tool of division, but a vehicle for political chaos. And trust me, he didn't just throw out a few half-baked ideas. He backed them up with facts, sarcasm, and a heap of dry humor.
I know that you're...
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected. Yeah. So the term woke has been, in my view...
But here's where it gets interesting. He called out the very people who had once been seen as voices of reason in the liberal media. He pointed directly at The View, where Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Hostin have repeatedly been dragging conservative figures through the mud. But this time, it was different. Bill Maher wasn't just calling out their antics, he was making it personal, setting the stage for a war of words that could change everything.
We go after Trump and Biden, you know, both of them, and a lot of people are not happy with you about that. I'm
not equally.
Well, not equally, because you know that Trump is more dangerous.
Of course. I mean, I don't think anybody was more out front on that danger than I was. I was talking about how he was never going to give up power.
Now, if you know anything about The View, you know it's a show where opinions are loud, unfiltered, and unapologetic. In a recent segment, Whoopi and Sunny decided to take a shot at Bill Maher for his centrist stance. They mocked him for supposedly shifting to the right, and as expected, their jabs were sharp. The usual suspects, Joy Behar and Whoopi, wasted no time tearing into Maher's views on Trump and the state of the left.
Long ago, when everybody was laughing at me and said, you smoke too much pot, and I said, I smoke just the right amount of pot. Finally, new rule. Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging, not keep digging. Talk about doubling down on what got...
And while they were at it, they casually dismissed Caroline Leavitt's rising popularity, labeling it a product of wokeness and white privilege. They laughed it off, thinking it was all just harmless fun. But Maher, he wasn't amused. He didn't take to Twitter to vent or post some snarky comment. He went directly for their throats, and it was all in real time.
You fucked in the first place. Even the one concession I've heard a few people on the losing side offer, that liberals should stop saying that Trump voters are stupid, comes with a kind of unspoken parentheses. We know they are stupid, just don't say it. We are not young, but we don't present as old.
Yeah.
Biden does. I saw him yesterday making that speech.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, he's cadaver-like.
But his brain is good. He's still great.
Bill Maher didn't respond in the typical Hollywood fashion. He didn't throw shade on social media or stir up drama behind the scenes. Nope. Instead, he came out with guns blazing with a legal grenade. That's right, Maher took their comments to heart in the most strategic way possible. He filed a massive defamation lawsuit, not just against Whoopi and Sunny, but against ABC itself. The lawsuit dropped like a bombshell. $800 million worth of damages, accusations of character assassination, and a pointed attack on the media elite's weaponization of power. all for simply backing the right to express alternative political views. Maher's legal team wasn't just playing for kicks. They were demanding accountability for what he called media manipulation on a grand scale. And trust me, this wasn't just a one-off public spat. This was war, the kind that doesn't just fizzle out.
Thing as karma, okay? Get over that. Whoopi attacks me on a regular basis. She says stupid shit on a regular basis. They just happen to coincide. But
now, the drama didn't stop there. The courtroom was set, and Whoopi Goldberg, once an untouchable daytime TV legend, was about to experience the heat of real legal consequences. Whoopi, who had famously accused Trump of being a dictator, now found herself in the hot seat, being called to account for her reckless comments on national television. The stage was set for a full-scale courtroom showdown. As the case unfolded, Whoopi's composure cracked under the weight of the accusations. Her bravado was gone. Courtroom observers noted that Whoopi looked visibly shaken, even as clips of her mocking Maher's views and undermining his credibility aired in front of the judge. What followed was a meltdown, the kind that you don't usually see in the polished, perfect world of TV.
grew up in two different worlds, which the white people imposed upon the black people. They are going to sometimes have a very different opinion. And the answer is not to make them sit in a corner for 2 weeks. That is insulting. It's so insulting to make a 65-year-old,
In a stunning moment of vulnerability, Whoopi was seen breaking down in court, her hands trembling and her voice cracking as she tried to backpedal from the damage. She begged the judge for mercy, admitting that she had crossed a line. But let's be real, it was too little, too late. Just when you thought the chaos couldn't get any worse for Whoopi, Joe Rogan entered the scene. The man who's never shy about calling out the absurdity of the media stepped into this fray, and trust me, he didn't hold back. Rogan, the one guy who seems to have no filter or fear, stepped onto the microphone and put his foot down.
He's going to hunt you down. He's going to find out what's going on. And that's good. That's good for everybody. That's how you should be looking at this. Like, wow, we have a brilliant mind that is examining these really corrupt and goofy systems.
On a new episode of The Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan didn't pull any punches when it came to Whoopi's behavior. He straight up roasted her for her emotional breakdown, calling it nothing more than a performance. You don't accuse someone of political manipulation on national TV and then cry in court like it's some kind of joke, Rogan said. And the internet went wild. The clip went viral, with fans, critics, and media outlets all buzzing over Rogan's brutal truth bomb. He didn't stop at Whoopi's courtroom performance. Rogan dug deep, exposing the flip-flopping nature of the left's political tactics. Rogan reminded everyone how Whoopi had once been friendly with Trump, even joking around with him during his apprentice days. But now, she was one of the loudest voices against him. Rogan made it clear, the media can't keep twisting facts for political gain, especially when they have no proof to back up their wild claims.
You know, when you're a certain age, you use words that you know from when you were a kid or you remember saying, and that's what I did today, and I shouldn't have. I should have thought about it a little longer before I said it, but I didn't. And I should have said cheated, and I used another word, and I'm really, really sorry.
And as the legal battle escalates, ABC News is in a full-blown crisis mode. It's not just about Whoopi's future, it's about the future of The View itself. Insiders say that ABC executives are scrambling behind closed doors, trying to figure out how to handle the fallout. With ad revenue dipping, viewership plummeting, and PR teams eerily silent, it's clear that the damage is real. But let's not forget, this isn't just about a celebrity feud. It's about the media machine. It's about how personalities with massive platforms can get away with spreading misinformation and destroying lives without facing any real consequences. And Rogan's comments, bold and unfiltered as ever, are a wake-up call for the entire system. When Bill Maher tore into The View on his show, he wasn't just defending his own reputation. He was calling out the entire media establishment for its hypocrisy. He reminded everyone that truth matters, and when you play the game of political manipulation, you better have the receipts. Maher wasn't playing. He exposed the madness of the media's relentless pursuit of power through fake outrage and political gamesmanship.
Basically said that they were going to give
Oh,
unqualified
God, how boring.
unqualified
Can they get
people
somebody there who's not
jobs.
The
so
Behind the
tedious?
Table podcast needs to apply for White House credentials.
Oh, they'd love having Joy in that room.
Joy
So
can
I
go
got
on
a
Skype.
question. So wait a second. So in other words, instead of Bob Woodward, they want Kim Kardashian? What? I don't get it.
Wait, okay.
I have a question, which is why I was leading us in this direction.
Yeah.
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the
And now it's time to hear from you, the audience. Do you think Bill Maher was right to go after The View like this, or did he cross the line? Was Whoopi Goldberg simply doing her job? Or is it time for the media to be held accountable for spreading lies and manipulating the masses? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Does the left have a moral high ground, or has their hypocrisy become too much to ignore? Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This media drama is only just beginning, and you won't want to miss a single update. The next headline could drop at any moment, and trust me, you'll want to be the first to know. Stay tuned for more, and thanks for watching. The world's changing, and it's happening right before our eyes. Keep your eyes wide open. This is only getting started.